Hey guys, welcome back. What I'm going to do today is talk to you about immediate action drills, specifically break contact front. Now, I have to say before I do this video that I cannot be held responsible for any random farm animal noises during this video, but I will assure you that no farm animals are going to be hurt during this video. Okay? So, the context of what I'm going to talk about is breaking contact front. It's an immediate action drill. So, to put it into context, you can break contact for whatever reason. You're out on the ground and you get into contact. It is a decision that can be made to break contact. So break contact can happen with any sort of size unit or whatever at any time, right? But what I'm talking about today is more specific than that. What I'm talking about is a patrol immediate action drill. So this is designed for a small reconnaissance patrol type affair. So I'm really talking about like a 4-man patrol today, something around those numbers. And as part of the orders and rehearsals process for that patrol to go out on the ground, they're going to have immediate action drills. Those are going to be SOPs or standard operating procedures, and they're going to have to be rehearsed so that everybody knows what the immediate action drills are. And so to that extent, they are automatic. So what do I mean by that? So because we've prepared for these drills, we're going out on a patrol where we are actually, through our route selection, we're trying to avoid contact with the enemy. And a reconnaissance patrol is the perfect example of that. So if we receive contact by the enemy, then it's going to be unintentional. So for today, we're talking about break contact front. So if we're patrolling along and suddenly there's a contact up front, point guy, whatever, then we're going to respond with fire, and we're going to yell contact front. And that call, that fire and that call of contact front, is what's going to initiate this drill. Now, all that having been said, it's an automatic drill that follows a basic principle. But all that having been said, there's nothing to stop the leader jumping in at some point and changing what he's doing, what the team's doing, if he sees a better solution than the set drill. But the set drill is there so that you can roll into it without thinking, having practiced it. You've got to be slick, guys. You've got to be really slick. So we're going to roll into this drill, and then if we decide, hey, this isn't the best plan, let's go this way, then we can do that. But we roll into a drill so we've got an immediate reaction to get us out of contact. And that is what an IA or immediate action drill is. There are a couple of different types of break contact front. And the one I'm going to go through today is what I consider to be my standard break contact front drill, and it's what's taught on Heat 1. And it's basically a get online and bound back drill. There is also another drill called the center peel. And both of these drills have advantages and disadvantages, and have advantages and disadvantages in different operating environments, different sizes of patrols, and different operating terrain, vegetation, etc. I will do another talk on the center peel, sometimes known as the Australian peel. Okay? Obviously because the Brits taught it to the Australians and then taught it to the guys who... No, hang on. Alright, I didn't say that. So, we're going to concentrate on the get online bound back drill today. What you must know as part of your live fire training is that you must know the basic movements as a team of bounding forwards, bounding backwards, and peeling to the left and peeling to the right. Because using those basic moves, you can actually accomplish a lot. And it's actually of those basic moves that immediate action drills are created. They're basic drills, and then you build your actual drill from using those. And so what I'm teaching you today, although it's a drill, it's actually a real break contact drill, team level break contact drill. It's written in the tactical manual, and it's taught on Heat 1. So if you want to look at the tactical manual, it's going to give you a lot of in-depth stuff, and then I'm going to bring it to life today, because once I finish talking to you right now, I'm going to go out to the army men on the sand table, and we're going to actually run through it on the sand table. Okay? So today, we're going to run through a sequence of the drill. This is the basic sequence, but I'll refer you back to what I said earlier, where we can do different stuff, and I'll touch on that a little bit at the end. But we can only do different stuff if the team is able to react to what the leader wants. Otherwise, it's just going to end up tactical nightmare. Okay? So the sequence of this break contact drill. So imagine now that we're now patrolling along. We could probably be maybe in a small reconnaissance patrol of 4 men. We're going to be either in single file or double file or column. Okay? So we're all together, or we're sort of split apart. And we're patrolling along. Intervals between each guy. The first thing that's going to happen is we're going to hit contact to the front. So what's going to happen there is that the point guy is going to conduct an RTR drill, return fire, take cover, return appropriate fire, yelling contact front. What's going to happen as per a certain sequence is that the team is going to bomb burst online, and that also has the effect of getting them off the line of travel, which hopefully isn't a trail, but you never know. But wherever they were moving, that's now the enemy's fire is coming down that way, and so when they bomb burst online, that's getting them off that. And so what we're going to end up with is we're going to have the Alpha pair and we're going to have the Bravo pair, and we're going to hammer the enemy as much as we can, and as soon as we're able to, what we're going to do is we're going to bring Alpha, because Alpha was the forward pair, we're going to bring them bounding back. So that was a react to contact and get online. After that, what we're going to do is we're going to bound back. The principle of these break contact drills, the principle that it starts on, is that we're going to try and get out the way we came in, because we've covered that route. We're not going to run off a cliff. We're not going to do whatever. We've already walked through that route, so that's, you know, as a default setting, get out the way we came in. Of course, unless you actually get contacted rear, but then it's in reverse. Okay, so we're going to bound back utilizing fire and movement. So Alpha bounds back, and then Bravo, Alpha, Bravo, Alpha, Bravo, and we bound back. What we're trying to do is get to a position over a terrain feature or around a terrain feature or whatever it might be, where we are no longer in view of the place that we were contacted from. It's no good if you're coming back and then for whatever reason there's no fire coming from the enemy position. And remember, we don't know what this enemy position is. This is partly why you need to break contact, because it could be anything. So suddenly there's no fire coming from the enemy position, and you're like, oh, cool, okay, let's just rally right here. But you're in view of the enemy position. Maybe the guy's just like changing the belt on his machine gun. You don't want to do that. What you want to do is you want to get out until you're over a terrain feature or behind a terrain feature where you can't be seen from where you were contacted from. So sometimes what that means is we might slip from fire and movement to bounding overwatch, bigger bounds, just moving super fast, boom, 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 boom. And then what we'll do is once we've got over that terrain feature, what we're going to do is we're going to put a rally point in. Maybe. But this is the basic drill, okay? The way I like to run a rally point is I want my rally point to be also a hasty ambush. So I don't teach, but if you want to do it, that's fine. I don't teach like a circular rally point. I teach online rally point, but we still have the guy on the flank is facing flank, the guy on the right is facing right, one of the guys is facing rear, and the other guy's facing forwards. So we've got all-round security, but we're on a line. And I consider that to be a hasty ambush. It's not the best or perfect kind of hasty ambush, because it's not a button hook hasty ambush where we broke track and ambushed our back trail. All it is, it's a very quick ambush over the terrain we just came back over in case the enemy comes barreling down the hill after us. So there's a nuance to that. You're not in that hasty ambush waiting for the enemy to come to you. You are simply in that hasty ambush for as long as it takes to get yourself squared away in the rally point before bugging out. So if during the time that you're rallying, the enemy comes over the hill, well, there you go, boom, boom. You can ambush them, and then of course the problem then is you didn't break contact. You didn't break contact. So you've got to get into the whole fire movement thing again and get away over the next terrain feature. So it could go on. Once you've done the rally point, once you've been there in that hasty ambush rally point for a minute, conducting tac reloads, maybe getting a drink of water, dealing with any casualties, etc., then you're going to bug out in whatever direction the team leader thinks that he wants you to go in. Okay? You could move back down the trail you came in on, or you could move out in a different direction, take a 90-degree angle, that kind of thing, to confuse any pursuit. It gets into a big topic. Could talk about this for a long time. Only got a little YouTube video, not going to talk about it all day. So you bug out, unless of course the enemy comes over the hill and trips the hasty ambush. If you break contact and you get away from the enemy, so you've temporarily broken contact. I can't tell you what enemy you're going to be facing, so I don't know who you contacted and how aggressive they're going to be following up. But you'll know that in whatever operating environment you're in, you'll know what the situation with that. So you break contact and you get back, and you've got the option of putting in a rally point. The other option, other than a rally point, is simply to take visual accountability of your guys and simply just go. The other thing you can do is you can throw in a break left or a break right. So what I mean by that is, and you can throw this in at any time, is that as you've done your bound back, and you come back, maybe you don't even rally. What you then do is break left or break right, peel left, peel right, and you peel out at 90 degrees, which could be under fire movement or it could be not under fire movement. You peel out at 90 degrees and then get to a spot where the enemy can't see you anymore and bug out. So there's a number of different techniques that you can throw in. And also that's partly confusing any enemy pursuit. The next big issue I haven't talked about is, because what I've talked about is I've talked about a basic drill. Let's just run the drill. Okay. What I haven't talked about is, what if you take a casualty? And it may well be that you take a casualty. It's just, you can't say. You take a casualty, things turn left. You're going to have serious conversations with your guys about what's going to happen on a small 4-man patrol if you take a casualty, depending on the nature and extent of that casualty. You have, in simple terms, very simple options. You either leave the casualty, you try and extract the casualty. What this gets into is the fact that depending how mobile the casualty is, you may not, especially when you're having to fight, be able to extract the casualty for any considerable distance. So what that might lead you to is the need to strong point. So you might have to get to a defensible location, get the casualty in, and try and defend that location. Again, depending how aggressive the enemy follow-up may or may not be, that in itself may not be tenable, unless you've got a radio and you've got a QRF or quick reaction force who you can call to come and get you out. And that leads into a whole bigger topic of, what is this patrol doing? Why are we running a reconnaissance patrol? And what backup does this reconnaissance patrol have? Whole bigger tactical, operational topic. Because you should have some kind of network, someone to communicate back to, some kind of QRF, come in, extricate casualties, bring reinforcements, or whatever it is that you need to do should this reconnaissance patrol get into trouble. What I'm going to do is, that's enough talking in front of the camera right now. I will say that on Heat 1 we teach the drill that I'm about to go through, and we also teach break contact left and right, which is a peeling movement, and I'll do another talk on that. And also on the new reconnaissance class We're also going to be introducing people to the center peel, specifically for the reconnaissance class. So, and that's first one of those classes is coming up at the end of November. We've still got a couple of spots. I just posted the class, and we're going to be adding that to the lineup for 2020. Let's go take a look at the Army Man. Okay guys, so here we have it. What I've got is I've got an enemy position here. I didn't want to get too much into what the enemy position might or might not be. The point is there's actually an enemy sentry here, and there's some resting enemy patrol here. So the point being is we might only get initially opened up on by the sentry, but then there might be other guys who are going to join in the fight. So we don't want to be wasting any time. So what we've got is our patrol, 4 men, moving in a slightly staggered file. And they've come from down there, and they come in this way directly towards the enemy, which they don't know are there. So as per the principle I was mentioning before, when they break contact, the initial principle for the basic drill is just to go back the way they came. I have actually put, I don't know how well you can see it in the camera, but there's a hill feature here. What that means is that if they go back and they get down into this area here, then they are over a terrain feature. This being a terrain feature which they can be on the other side of, which means that these enemy cannot, they are not in the fields of fire of this enemy anymore, and the only way the enemy is going to get them is if the enemy follows up after them. So initially what happens is we actually get the contact front here. The front guy here is going to react. He's going to fire, he's going to conduct an RTR drill. He's part of Alpha team, this is the other guy on Alpha team. This is the front of Bravo team, this is the other guy on Bravo team. Now, what we tend to do at the VTC is we have a specific SOP to make range safety and all that kind of stuff a lot easier to deal with. And what that SOP is that when we get a contact front, these guys are going to move to the left and be the left-hand buddy pair, and these guys are going to move to the right and be the right-hand buddy pair. Now, just to say at this point that is not necessarily what needs to happen, and this is one of the reasons why, going back to my other video where I talked about the position of the team leader, is it's often a good idea to have the team leader number 3 guy. So what happens is you've got a point man and a slack man, team leader, and tail end Charlie. So this means that if this happened for real, as it were, these guys are going to deploy and react to wherever the enemy is, and then he gets a moment to think which is the best way to go, depending where the enemy is, and he might go right with this guy, or he might go left with this guy, and he'll just communicate with these guys where he is. I'm on your left, I'm on your right. But for the purposes of running this at the ranges, we basically run it as a set drill where Bravo will go out to the right. Okay, so on contact front, the team gets online. Point man is here. The second guy came out to the left hand side of him, making Alpha. The third man came out to the right, making sure he could get a safety angle on the point man. This guy we always jokingly call the Gazelle. He comes from the rear and he gets into position up here. So now we've got Bravo back here. Because we're running a break contact drill, what we want to do is we want to get Alpha back, and we want to start bounding back the way we came. Okay, so now we've got the crest of the hill here. So as they start to get below the crest, they can no longer engage the enemy, and the enemy can no longer engage them. As I gave in the original talk, there's a couple of things that could go on here. Is that the basic drill is to keep coming down and call a rally point, and then rally, and then bug out. The rally point being a hasty ambush whilst it's there. The other thing they could do is, once they get slightly below the crest, is they can call a brake left or a brake right. If you're going to call a brake left or a brake right, then you've got visual accountability of your guys. They're still moving. So we could then peel out to the left or peel out to the right. We could do any of these moves in any sequence we wanted to. This is where the team leader jumps in and gives an order which supersedes the rehearsed drill. So the rehearsed drill would just be to come back to here and rally, and then assuming nobody triggers your hasty ambush would then be to bug out. We could get to here and we could, for example, we could break right, peel right, or break left, peel left. And we would just conduct a peeling maneuver out, and we would be going at 90 degrees or following the terrain feature that we've got as we disappear off at a 90-degree direction. We could also do that same 90-degree thing from the rally point. So we could rally and then we could lead out that way or this way rather than going straight back. So that's kind of like team leader's call. Once we move over the crest here, we're no longer in sight of the enemy, so we can actually move by bounding overwatch. So we can make bigger moves. Rally, 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 facing forwards, covering flank. These guys now need to come in and join the rally point. Facing rear, facing flank. This, for the purposes of whilst they're here, is a hasty ambush, ambushing any enemy coming after them down this way. Once they come to the crest line here, these guys will be able to hammer them with fire and then start to move out again. Alternatively, you could do a classic circle, but it doesn't have that same hasty ambush effect. Once we've conducted ourselves within the rally point as quickly as we possibly can, then what we're going to do is we're going to bug out, single file, follow me, and we'll start moving off. And in order to, you know, evade the enemy or whatever we're going to do next. Alright guys, a simple toy soldier demonstration of a simple break contact drill. It's kind of a little bit more to it, but obviously what we'll do is, you know, we go through it in a little bit more detail in class. Usually what we'll do when we're running these drills in class is we'll run a break contact back to a rally point, and then we'll get hit in the rally point. The hasty ambush will be initiated and we'll have to fight back from there. What we'll then do, for example, on the 4th day of Heat 1, is we'll have the same thing going on. So we'll fight back from for example, a contact front. We'll get to a rally point. We'll rally. We will get hit by follow-up enemy. We'll fight backwards in bounds for a little bit, and then what we'll do is we'll pull, for example, a break right, peel right, and we'll break out to the right, and then make our escape. So that's something for like day 4 of the Heat 1 class. We've got more of this stuff coming up on classes as well. We do cover this more in Heat 2, and we've now got the new reconnaissance class coming up, and we're going to be doing break contact drills there. Maybe slightly different break contact drills, but it's all excellent tactical education. Thanks very much, guys.